Alright friends, now that we've finished the patch and I've patched everything in here, I also went, and I believe I showed you guys this, but I just went to each fixture, to the fixture type color here, and I set a color for each fixture using the color wheel or the preset colors. Really simple, but it helps us identify our fixtures later, and it's just kind of handy within the software to do. You don't have to do it, but it helps. Now, we're going to talk all about the layout of the screen. And there's kind of two parts here. So we're following along, again, the Vista how-to guides from ChromaQ. So we're in the second video here, the Fixture Chooser and creating layouts. And this is going to be one place where things look different at the start, but you're going to find out as we go on that they're actually not that different. So if I go back here, and I'm going to first click on my Fixtures Presets windows. Now, the Fixture Preset window here, right, has all of our fixtures individually, all labeled as we labeled them from our patch. Okay? Now, what you're used to seeing in Vista is known in Onyx as the 2D plan view. In Vista, they create one for you automatically, but then you have to rearrange it completely to your own needs, hide fixtures you don't want, etc., etc., etc. It's a little bit different in Onyx. Now, I have three layouts here, page one, capture top, and front, and the reason why I have this is because I actually imported most of the rig from the Capture 3D visualizer automatically. Now, we're not covering that here, but if you do use Capture, it's a really great tool built into Onyx, saves you a ton of work, and it's like a one-click deal. But let's pretend those don't exist. In fact, I'm going to just go into edit mode here, and I'm going to go ahead and delete those two. Nice and easy. Now, adding new fixtures in here is actually really simple, and I want to walk you through laying out your stage so that you can do it too. And then when we finish that, we're going to actually recreate the Vista layout of the Vista screen as well. In fact, you know what? Why don't we start with that? That's a good idea. So one of the things that I think trips up a lot of Vista users is the fact that the screens look different from Onyx to Vista. Now, in this video, I'm on a pretty typical, I think it's a 22-inch screen on my computer, and it's a pretty similar resolution. It's the same resolution to the screens in the console. So like right here, I've got an NX4 behind me. You could see a little bit, and they're the same resolution. So the layouts will actually transfer the same between them. To get something that works a little bit more like Vista, it's actually really simple. So we just go up here to our workspace chooser, unlock, at which point we can press edit view. This allows us to work within the view that we have. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a option here. So to match the Vista view, it looks like they basically have like 3 or 4 on the right and one main section. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab this to right section. And at the top, I'm going to go ahead and start pulling in my parameters. So Vista basically on their layout, and I'm pulling it up in my other window because it's been a while, they basically give you like all of your parameters and then a color picker and then maybe some presets or something like that. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead at the top and just hit the plus sign and go through my different windows here. So these are all the windows that Onyx has, and I'm going to show you, we're going to find the ones that best fit here. So nice and simple, I'm going to go here to Programmer, and I believe I want full parameters, or maybe parameters. Let's try. No, I want full parameters. So if I get a wrong window, I just hit the trash can here, and then I find what I'm looking for. So yeah, so what I want actually is common parameters. Perfect. And then here at the bottom, there's a lot of things I could do here, and I'm not sure exactly. So essentially, to demonstrate how this works while we're still here, I'm going to hit my arrows and resize this basically until Onyx tells me the window doesn't fit anymore for a very Vista-like. Actually, I think I'm about there. This is about how Vista looks on the PC. Okay, is essentially when I select a light, so I'll go here and I'll just select one of my main spots, I now have the intensity, I have the color picker control, the effects, link, pan tilt, as well as a effects little visualizer. Okay, so it's actually very similar to what you have in Vista at the very topmost section. Then below that in Vista, you do have a color picker. So I'm just going to do actually literally just the same window again, so the common parameters. And this time, I'm going to go ahead and park it on the color picker, okay? Now, in Onyx, there's a couple really cool things. Whenever you modify a window, you change things around, including the zoom and the pane that you're selected on. When we hit save like this on our window, I'm just going to call it 2D plan Vista. When we hit save, it saves all those things. So even if I go to a different pane on here, if I double tap right here, it comes back to how I saved it. Okay, so wasn't that easy? I mean, we just literally created pretty much what Vista looks like in like a second. Now, I do notice, I think they put something at the bottom there in Vista, and I admit it's been a while, that gives you maybe presets or something else in a third pane. So if we wanted to do that, we could totally do that as well. And just go ahead. You would have to basically delete this one so that you could split it. Okay, then I could go ahead and do my common parameters, adjust my sizes till hopefully they all fit. I'm not sure they're all going to quite fit in this resolution, but we might be able to fit something in there. So we could do some presets real quick. It technically fits. I can hit the cog in the window, get rid of the top bar, get rid of, make the font small, make everything small. And voila, we can actually get to some presets and scroll through them for each parameter. Now, it's a little bit tighter than I like, but it gives you basically what Vista has, and we could do things further, like get rid of this bottom bar in the settings if we wanted to get a little bit more space there. But it is handy as it stands already. So I'm going to go ahead and save this again and actually start working now on our 2D layout. So as we mentioned, Onyx doesn't create a layout, and I'm just going to go and relock my workspace. Onyx doesn't create a layout for you by default, but that's okay because honestly, you know, I think 99% of the time with the Vista layouts, people rearrange them anyways and hide stuff, and so why not just start blank and add stuff? It's kind of the same thing, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and literally go to my Auto Groups tab here and select my first group of lights, okay? Then I'll go back here to my 2D plan window, hit edit. Okay, and this is important. You want to be in edit mode because edit mode allows you to change the layout of things in the 2D plan. If you're not in edit, you can't change the layout, and I personally find that to be a really positive thing. I know in Vista you can drag things around pretty much anytime, but I don't like that. So, because why, you know, when you're selecting lights in programming, you don't really want to be moving around your layout. That's my opinion at least. So I'm going to press add right here. And now it tells me there's 10 fixtures selected. Most often I use this add mode. This is the line add mode, but there's also a freeform line, a circle, and a grid where you enter the number of columns and it figures out the grid for you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and place those lights. Now it tells me to draw a line to place them. I'm gonna zoom out a little. And then it's going to show me right here, you know, how I place it. It's going to show me if it's level, if it's even. I can use the dots to determine that and let go when I'm ready. Now, if you are on a console, I definitely recommend plugging in a mouse when you do this. Or in the case of the NX4, they do have a trackball. Having a mouse is really helpful, though you can do it with just a touch screen. It's more easy to make mistakes when you're in that world. Also, this is the one place where I do say I really do miss the Vista consoles with the Wacom tablets with the pens, where you could rest your hand on the screen and use the pen. I think those were awesome. But, you know, you could get a Wacom screen with a pen for Onyx, and hey, best of both worlds. Anyways, so building the rest of the layouts really quite simple. It's going to be the same thing. So just deselect this group, grab my next group, right? Go ahead, add it. I'm going to use that line mode again. These are the front lights, so they go over here somewhere. Make it nice and even. Done. Now, if you mess up, if they're not nice and even, you know, you drop them and they're all over the place, that's okay. There's plenty of tools to even them out. So you can just literally select them once again. Go ahead and align. So you're going to align it to the bottommost to the topmost. Spread them evenly. Or change them to a circle or grid layout. You can do that at any point. Okay. You can also turn off snapping. Let things snap. There are a lot of options in here, and they keep adding more to be able to manage things better and better. Now we'll go ahead again. Next, just do the next fixture. Z350, so we're going to add those, and they go. I know I'm not getting this perfect to the way the file's laid out, but we'll get it close enough. You can see I kind of messed up. I know that these line up, so I just drag them right over. Nice. Looks good. Next, I'm going to go ahead, darts 360s, add, there's 12 of these, so I'm going to go a little wider. Maybe center it up again. Perfect. Notice I'm not centered on the grid lines, but that really doesn't matter because the grid lines go away when you're not in edit mode, so I don't worry about that. Next, we have our color choruses from Elation. Now, these are a multi-part fixture, meaning they have multiple cells to them. That looks just a little bit different when we add them to the 2D plan, okay? And there's a good reason for that. If I go in and add this directly, I'm just adding an icon for the master fixture, which allows you to do things like the master intensity, etc. But if we want to work with the part fixtures as well, or see how they are, we definitely want the combined or the multi-part fixture. Sometimes you actually want both, and it makes your life easier to have both. So do be aware of that, because it's not a liability, but it's actually really helpful. So for multi-part fixtures, we're just going to go add, and this time go to combined fixtures. It's also worth noting here that there's zone fixtures, and this is for the pixel mapper in Onyx. I'm not sure if we're going to get to that in these tutorials. I forget if it's in the Vista tutorials, but once you've mastered the basics of Onyx, it's a great place to go to save yourself a lot of time in programming and be able to do some really epic things in Onyx that other consoles, including the one we're talking about you moving over from, can't do. So you can just literally grab these individually, choose your add mode, place them. Now, there are going to be a few things with the combined fixtures, and I want to show you. So I'm going to add them, and you see it's kind of a hot mess, right? Because they're coming in horizontally, but they're actually vertically, and they're all on top of each other. What are we going to do? Don't worry. It's actually really easy. So when it comes to multi-part fixtures or fixtures that are in really long shapes like this or whatever, there's some different options here that can be really helpful. Okay, one is just the rotation, right? So we're going to rotate this to the way they are in real life. You know, later you can light up individual cells, check if they're horizontal or vertical, rotate them the other way. We also can set up the scale, because as we see, those were way too huge when they first came in. Boom, scaled them down. They're perfect now. Okay, there's also the ability to flip them horizontally or vertically, and with any fixture that you have, you can actually change what text is displayed. So there's all sorts of things you can display here, such as the type of the fixture, that's what the patch name is, the actual name of the fixture, the name you gave it, the percentage it's at, etc. If you like stuff like this, if you like to see your percentage of intensity or what have you, you can click on any of these and customize that as can be. There are also layers, which can be really helpful, especially when working with pixel mapping. They allow you to lock certain things and unlock them. And if you're going to be a heavy user of the 2D plan, I recommend changing and splitting some stuff up into layers. It's really just like any other software with layers, like Photoshop or anything like that, where you simply go ahead and add layers, and then whichever layer you're on when you add the fixtures, that's the layer it's on. It does give you some abilities here, like you can select and deselect by a layer. Truth be told, I don't use that much, but it is there, and if you find it helpful, feel free to use it. One thing I do use layers for is I like to put my pixel map zone on a layer and lock it, because it's fairly easy to get to those pixel map zones in Dialist, which again, we're not covering right now, and move them around accidentally, which does live and on the fly, move things around on your stage, on your output to your lights, which can be a little disorienting at times. So we'll hide options, we'll hide layers, we're good to go. I can see here again, I got these fixtures a little too close now, right? So it's really simple as I could just go and grab them, right? Say I want them to be in this range, nice and easy, perfect. Align, spread, nice and easy. Okay, see, that wasn't hard at all. You'll see as well that they're color-coded right now as I'm building it, and then when I get out of the edit mode back into live mode, we're color-coded just with this little box below them. So it helps you identify your fixtures. Again, that comes from the patch. That's the color that I set all the way back here. and I went fixture type color. So really helpful, can be helpful to you to just stay organized, make your lighting life easier. Okay, let me go ahead and look at what else we got to cover here in this tutorial. So we can go ahead and add groups as well to the 2D plan, and I find that helpful more often than not. So I'm just going to go ahead and find a zoom that I like. Back to edit mode, add, can add my groups. Just use these automatic groups here. We're going to stick them at the bottom of our screen today. Nice and easy. They're a little bit skewed. Let me fix that quick. Perfecto. Nice. Okay, that wasn't that hard. So now I'm going to go ahead real quick, and I am going to right click, unlock and edit, save my view, so that we're saving the zoom. And actually I messed up there because I was talking and teaching, and I saved it in edit mode. So one more time, go ahead and save that. Perfect. Now, even if you zoom, move around, do whatever, you can always just double click, or when you restart Onyx, it will come back to the saved view. Now we can see we're able to select groups of fixtures, be able to do things like turn them on. This is the intensity output right here. Okay. Do things like use our color picker, because of course we saved it. We'll save it again. We saved it not on the color picker, right? Select presets once we've built them, all kinds of good stuff like that. Now, the beautiful thing about layouts is, like in Vista, you have something called item visibility, because they automatically add all of your fixtures to the layouts. You have to disable them if you don't want to see them. If you don't want to see a particular fixture on your layout, you just go into edit mode, click on it or highlight it, and press delete. That's it. It's real easy. It'll delete. I'm not going to do that now because I do want this in my layout. You can also have multiple layouts, which can be really helpful, right? Because this is kind of a top view, except these strip lights are not being viewed from the top. They're actually, that's how they are from the front. They're standing up, right? So this isn't perfect match to the rig, but it would still work well. You may want to do things like a top view and a front view, or something called a magic sheet view, where you just have your fixtures in rows. And that's as simple as adding a new page here, selecting those fixtures, you know, by groups, individually, what have you. And then, again, just adding them like we did before. I'm not going to do it all. And there you have it. You know, now you could have a magic sheet. You could name it that, of course, right here. I'm not going to do the whole thing because I'm just going to stick with our main top view. Nice and easy. Perfect. Double tap. Go to my stored save for this window, and then we're good. All right, back to things. Other than that, we've kind of hit most of the stuff here. We've aligned things, we've flipped them, we've distributed them, we've shown you how to flip cells. There are within multi-part fixtures a few more settings. If the settings built in here in the options, like flipping them horizontally, vertically, and turning them, isn't quite enough, we can go in the patch and find some more options, okay? So that's to be aware of. These are the color courses in this case, and in the invert tab, nope. Let's see. Yes, when we pop this guy out, we get some more options here for specifically rotation that allows you to flip it. Depending on the fixture and what abilities it has, you are going to have some different options there as to being able to change around the layout. Ultimately, if the fixture you have doesn't match the profile exactly, maybe it's not the exact fixture, you definitely want to request that fixture, but like we mentioned before, the team is real fast at building them. Just make sure you include the information as to how the cells are arranged, and they'll get that knocked out for you. Okay, nice and easy. Backgrounds and notes, that's something that they discussed that we haven't yet. So backgrounds are easy. If you want to do a background, just go to options, choose image. You can choose any image. I believe it has to be a ping image, and they've got some examples here. Yeah, it does have to be a ping image. A lot of times people like to do a layout, do their logo, whatever. You can do that. As you see, I just brought it in nice and easy. Then I can scale it, make it bigger, make it smaller, whatever you'd like. I can have it fill, stretch to fill. I can have it tile, just center it. I can make it more or less transparent. Lots of cool things we can do with that. Personally, I don't use them much, but you know, for some people, it's a really big deal, especially if you're in a rig that you're using for a long time, to use a background image like that. Other than that, that's really all there is. I think we've basically covered everything in that video. So now in this video, you've learned, we'll lock our workspace, how to build a layout just like Vista in like 20 minutes. We just did this, right? How to lay out your window so that it works the way that you're used to working with in Vista. How to then navigate through it, bring in your fixtures, rearrange things, add background images. We've covered it all here. So as you can see, the learning curve really isn't that bad, and we're going to keep on going. And in our next video, we're going to talk all about storing and working with groups. It's going to be probably a really fast video. There's a lot there. There's good stuff, but it's honestly not all that difficult. And so I think you'll find we'll do it quick. We'll see you guys there. Thanks.